North America's busiest trade link will reopen for traffic on Sunday, ending a 6-day blockade, a top U.S. official said, after Canadian police cleared the protesters fighting to end COVID-19 restrictions. Canadian police made several arrests on Sunday and cleared protesters and vehicles that occupied the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor, Ontario, following a court order on Friday. The blockade has choked the supply chain for Detroit's carmakers, forcing Ford Motor Co. FN, the second-largest U.S. automaker, General Motors Co. GMN, and Toyota Motor Corp. 7,203 to cut production. Canadian authorities intend to reopen the Ambassador Bridge today after completing necessary safety checks. White House Homeland Security Advisor Lise Sherwood-Randall said in a statement, "The bridge carries about $360 million a day in two-way cargoes, 25% of the value of all U.S.-Canada goods trade." A Windsor police official told reporters that between 20 and 30 arrests were made. Police also seized vehicles within the demonstration area, according to an earlier statement. Police stepped up their presence on Sunday with more than 50 vehicles, including cruisers, buses, and an armored car, as the number of protesters dropped to around 45 from roughly 100 on Saturday. Windsor police tweeted there will be zero tolerance for illegal activity. In Ottawa, counter-protests started blocking vehicles trying to join the protests on Sunday, with residents losing patience over the 3-week-old demonstrations. In the western Canadian province of British Columbia, the Pacific Highway border crossing in Surrey was temporarily closed on Sunday afternoon for a second day by a group of about 200 protesters. According to a Reuters photographer on the scene, a small group of protesters gathered on U.S. side of the border, blocking incoming vehicles. The Freedom Convoy protests started in the national capital Ottawa by Canadian truckers opposing a vaccinate or quarantine mandate for cross-border drivers, entered its 17th day on Sunday, but it has now morphed into a rallying point against broader COVID-19 curbs, carbon tax, and other issues, with people joining in cars, pickup trucks, and farm vehicles. The Canadian government has discussed whether to invoke special emergency powers to deal with the protests in the capital. Emergency Preparedness Minister Bill Blair told CBC News on Sunday. Blair said the lack of police enforcement in Ottawa was inexplicable. The Rarely Used Emergencies Act would allow the federal government to override the provinces and authorize special temporary measures to ensure security during national emergencies anywhere in the country. It has only been used once in peacetime by Trudeau's father, former Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, in 1970. Strangling bilateral trade. Protests have spread to 3 border points, including in Alberta and Manitoba. Canadian police have said the protests have been partly funded by U.S. supporters, and Ontario froze funds donated via one U.S. platform, Give Us and Go, on Thursday. The estimated loss so far from the blockades to the auto industry alone could be as high as $850 million, based on IHS Markit's data, which puts the 2021 daily flow in vehicles and parts at $141.1 million a day. In Europe, a convoy of 150 cars protesting COVID-19 restrictions left Paris on Sunday morning and headed towards Brussels, protesters told.